What is up, YouTube? I'm gonna be doing a Q&A today. I suck at doing these on my Instagram story, and I always feel like I have more that I want to say, and I don't like answering those stupid short answer questions. So I'm gonna be getting into some questions here, probably rambling a bunch, maybe not making sense, but hopefully this kind of gives you guys an insight on how I process things, my mentality, and a bunch of shit that you guys have been asking that I'm open to answer. What is the origin story of champion mentality, and how did it develop? So honestly, the origin story is pretty boring. It was literally just trying to think of like something to put on a t-shirt, and I've always been a huge believer that your mentality, your mental state, your mental toughness, everything is a huge driver of success, and what separates true long-lasting champions from people who just win once or twice. And it developed a lot more over the years as I started to really understand just how important your mind is in competitive sports, success, career, absolutely anything, and understanding that you are your own worst enemy all the time. You are literally competing against yourself all the time, and that the champion mentality isn't so much about being a champion and winning trophies, but it's about having no quit. Like I said in my Olympia speech, it's about giving your all, giving your best, setting the standard for yourself so that you are putting in your best work to get your own best result. Whether you win or lose, you're competing with a champion mentality to be the best version of yourself. It's kind of what it's developed into, and I mean, more every year I try and learn more about my mental state, and that's my champion mentality. Hardest part of Olympia prep. I mean, honestly, there's a lot of hard parts, but if I'm gonna be, one thing that just jumps in my head, so I'll pick that, is probably the internal battle I have in my mind about my health. Partly because of stuff I've gone through in the past, but also if you're a bodybuilder and you're competing at a high level and you have absolutely zero concern for your health, you're probably lying and denying how you feel, or you're just stupid, because obviously you're putting a lot of stress on your body, you're doing a lot of shit. So it definitely takes a toll on me, and sometimes I get in these moments and I'm like, fuck, is something happening? Is something wrong? Why am I doing this just to step on stage and compete? Is it worth it? And I get in these head battles like that, and that's when I know I need to be doing my health checks, blood work, everything, making sure I'm healthy. I'm working with a new doctor now and making sure everything's on point, so I can instead of thinking I'm feeling good, I know I'm doing everything I can to feel good. And also just learning to not live in fear, because anything can happen at any time in your life, and if you choose to do something, then do it. Don't do it and then stress about doing it, or you might as well not be doing it at all, because I don't want to live my life like that. What would you say is the best way to make good gains? Supersets or focusing on one body part at a time? I mean, if you're talking about supersetting two different body parts, I would say definitely focusing on one body part at a time. I'm a huge believer in the good old bro split type workouts where you just destroy one body part, train at full intensity on that day. Every other style of workout works as well. I just like that style, and I think you should be putting all your focus and energy into each set that you're doing, not worrying about, oh, I just did a set of chest, I'm gonna superset with back. To me, that's insane. You haven't rested enough to give all out for both sets. But if you're talking about supersets as in the same body part in a different range of motion, like if you're doing a bicep curl and you go from a stretch position, arm kind of at your back behind you, into a preacher curl in front of you where you're a little stronger, then that has its benefit. But the way you worded it, saying one body part at a time, I would say yes, one body part at a time. How's the balance of being a business partner / owner and Mr. Olympia? Honestly, this is something I have been struggling with in the last little bit, and I think it's just partly because it was new. I know my whole life I've only had not my whole life, my whole competing career, I've had absolutely one focus and all I really cared about, and that was competing and winning. And that's still my top priority right now. It's still my number one goal, but I have other things that bring me a lot of fulfillment and happiness as well, such as business and Raw and Cbum fitness and everything else I'm trying to build right now, and other things that are coming soon. And I think I struggled because it was something new, and I was kind of bouncing around, not sure what to do and not sure where I should put my priorities. And while bodybuilding is selfish, the business I have a lot of partners with, I felt like I almost owed them a little bit of to do more work, be more involved, do more shit like that. And over time now I've been if I really want to help them, right now the best thing I can do for businesses and my own career, myself, are to be the best bodybuilder I can. So I had to sit down and really figure out what my priority was, and I'd sit there would you rather business or Mr. Olympia? And without a doubt, Mr. Olympia. So with that, I've had to rearrange my thought structure throughout the day. So if it's gonna be a long day, lots of work or something, I gotta leave early, I'm not going to the office today if it's a shitty leg day or whatever, and make sure that I have full energy for my workout. And also they're like, it's my choice really. I don't have to be going in there and doing as much as possible, but I enjoy being a part of the business as much as I can be. So just finding that balance and learning as I go, but it's a new process. And when I get into prep and it really gets serious and I'm getting tired, I'm just gonna put all my focus on the bodybuilding, take a step back. And luckily I have an amazing team and partners that I trust to do absolutely everything as perfectly as can be done. What are your focus points for this year's Olympia, mentally and physically? Mentally, I would say one of the biggest things, always every year I want to be present as possible throughout my prep, not just the end. I've gotten really good at being present in the peak week and on stage and just really enjoying every single moment, and I want to be a little better at that in prep when I'm going through some stress and shit like that, and like kind of enjoy the process of what my body's going through, because I'm going to look back at these days and be like, fuck, that was some crazy shit, that was awesome. So I want to be able to actually enjoy that, and I also want to be able to not live in fear and stress like I talked about in my health. I want to learn to just take a step away from that, understand that I am in control of my health, doing absolutely everything I can. And there's a lot of new stuff with this doctor I'm working with now to help excel my health even more and keep it even better. And last year was the healthiest I've ever been. So I'm like, you just did it, like just live in that positivity. If something happens, you'll deal with it, but you're not gonna expect it to happen. And then physically, number one thing that comes to my mind is I want to peak better this year. I think in the last 48 hours, 24 hours of the Olympia, I kind of like lost my look a little bit. I ran a little too flat. I was afraid to have any sodium because I haven't years in the past, and I think it kind of took a little away from my look a little bit. And I think I'm going to need that extra edge to win another Olympia because the competition's getting really tough. And I mean, also obviously I want to keep bringing up specific body parts like my back and my arms, and probably practice my posing a little bit more this year because I never seem to do that. What if you want to be the youngest IFBB pro? Is it wrong to hop on gear at a young age? Absolutely yes. Because I'm telling you right now, when I was young, I thought it would be super cool to be the youngest pro, the youngest Mr. Olympia, the youngest whatever. No one gives a flying fuck. I was pro at 21, on the Olympia stage at 22, I believe. And no one knows that, no one cares, no one remembers. A week after it happened, people were like, wow, look how young he is. And then no one cares. Do you want to be the best at something for someone who's young, or do you want to be the best, period? Personally, I want to be the best, period, not just the best young person to do something. So fuck age, don't hop on gear, learn the basics, get strong, enjoy the gym, and take it all slow. Why do people consider sumo deadlift cheating? And do you? Well, they consider it cheating because it is cheating. Scenario, you can compete and win an Olympic medal. What sport would you choose and why? I think Winter Olympics, I would do snowboard halfpipe. I've always loved snowboarding and I love Shaun White. And Summer Olympics, 100-meter sprint all the way. Just to say that you're the fastest person in the world would just be awesome. What would you say is the driving factor between success and failure? Don't be generic. I feel like I can't not be generic because the reason things are generic is because it was the truth. But there's not a lot of crazy things. I don't know if about success and failure, because a lot of people can be lucky and successful. But I think a huge thing some people lack, others need more of it, but is you need to believe in yourself, like absolutely and fully know that you believe in yourself. And you need to believe in yourself from doing things such as, or having an understanding that if you are doing everything at the best of your ability that's in your control, then you know you will be successful from that. And then that kind of creates a release of anxiety of the stuff that's out of your control, and you just focus on what is in your control. I think all really successful people have a mindset that can detach from whatever's out of their control, whatever shit might happen or come into your life, and only focus on what they can do and doing that at the best of their ability. Hopefully that's not too generic. What is your favorite anime? Naruto, all day. Are there any new flavors coming for raw products? We're coming out with 2 products coming in lemon lime. We got a chocolate peanut butter limited edition protein coming. We have a lot. We have a board up of like new drops every single month, but the next one I believe is lemon lime, and we'll be announcing all the flavors as they come, but we got a lot in store. What made you grow the mullet? So honestly, what made me grow the mullet started with the mustache, and I shaved my facial hair into a mustache, literally as a joke, thinking it would be ugly and it would be stupid and like trying to like do something kind of funny, and I ended up kind of looking good and catching on. People have been like, wow, that's classic, like that's cool. So I rocked it, and it just became my thing. Now I won't compete without it. And then the hair was the same thing. I'm like, all right, the mustache ended up being cool. What can I do that's actually gonna be ugly and stupid? And I was like, fuck it, cut your hair into a mullet and just like let it grow. And when I was young, I had hair that flipped out, and I always wore hats. I would tuck behind my ears and flip it out, but I hated having long hair on the side of my head because I don't have like nice hair here. It would get like frizzy. So having a mullet, I really need a haircut right now. But having a mullet got rid of that, and it let me keep the flow in the back, and it actually ended up looking cool. So I kept it as well. I've been rocking it. What are some things you do to manage stress? Good question. In prep, well, still I see a therapist less frequently now, but I do see a therapist. I think that can be so beneficial to anyone. Even if you don't think you need it, it can help you just be more successful and build a stronger mindset. It gives you someone to talk to, an unbiased opinion, and that you can just share anything with, like any thoughts that you might not feel comfortable sharing with even close ones because they might be about them or whatever, or fears you want to express. It just helps to get them out. So that, communicating as well, whether a therapist or with a partner. When I talk to things with Courtney that I'm stressed about, I just feel better. She's not doing anything, but if I can just express it, I feel better. And I'm also naturally an introvert at heart. I like being around people, like I love people, but I need sometimes where I'm just like alone. Like right now, Courtney's been gone for like 3 days. She's in Arizona, and I've had this time like alone, and I feel like a little bit reset, like my batteries are recharged, and it kind of helps me when I'm stressed out. There's usually lots going on. I need to just detach, be alone, and just like calm my mind and understand that like, oh, the shit you're stressing about usually isn't that important, and if it is, then you should be doing something about it. Favorite sneaker of all time? Probably the Jordan 1 lows. I love the highs, but they're just like not as easy to wear all the time. The Jordan 1 lows are just the GOAT. What is your favorite Kanye album? My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, for sure. What advice would you give to young lifters? People always ask this, and I finally thought of a decent question when somebody asked me at the gym the other day in person, and it's to focus on the basics. Focus on the absolute most basic principles of lifting, and you will be very successful. If you focus on form, execution, mind-muscle connection, contraction, everything like that, just at the best of its ability, you will be a lot stronger for it. If you're trying to think of like new fancy exercise, like chest pressing to the side and crazy lat pullovers with wrist attachments and cables and all these setups, you're just thinking on the wrong spots. But if you focus on intensity and execution, form, mind-muscle connection, that's really all you need. You can stick with the most basic exercise, do the same shit forever, but if you're training harder and more effectively, then you'll benefit from it. A cool side note, a cool thing that I've heard a bunch of times, but the number one thing Michael Jordan started with in practice was chest pass, which you would think is the most basic thing you would do, but it's just sticking to the basics and nailing those things, getting those perfect, because at the end of the day, the flashy, cool, different, crazy things aren't really what you apply every single day, but something like a chest pass. How many times in a game do you shoot a chest pass? How many times do you just need to bench press, cable fly, squat, simple things that you can just do perfectly and effectively. At this stage in your career, how do you stay motivated? This is definitely something that has been a little bit more difficult in recent years. I kind of like feel like I've accomplished a lot of what I wanted to accomplish, and it's almost like creating new goals in my head that I need to chase after, new difficult tasks that I need to do. And it's nitpicking how I looked in years past and understanding that I still haven't looked exactly how I want to look, and I want to get on stage looking like almost perfect at least once before I retire. So that kind of edges me to do everything in a little bit better that I wasn't doing properly last year. Like I was talking about, I want to peak better. Also, just sitting down and, like I said, picking new goals that it's going to be. I wanted to win the Olympia. I wanted to Olympia twice. I wanted to have the most classic Olympia titles. I wanted to win with a perfect score. I had these like goals, and I've accomplished all of them now. And now it's just like, what do you want next? And I really would love to be like remembered as, to the end of time, as like one of the GOATs of classic physique. And I want to really like leave my legacy on classic physique in the IFBB. So my goal is to really accomplish that. And that's kind of keeping me motivated right now. So I'm trying to put my focus on fine-tuning things, chasing stuff. I tell myself in my head that people I'm competing against are getting better and better, and that they're coming up after me, and that I need to push myself more and more. And just trying to remember why I started all this shit, because I just love competing, I love bodybuilding, and I want to keep improving and being the best version of myself. Vert height. In high school, did a football combine and I did a 41.5 inch vertical jump. And I remember people fucking shat their pants when I did that. And they're like, who is this kid? And sadly, I wasn't that good at football, but I could jump damn high. Favorite cheat meal is probably Thanksgiving dinner. I think, yeah, it's the same in Canada and US, obviously. I just had it, but like turkey, mashed potatoes, stuffing, gravy, all that kind of stuff. I'd love that. Except I only like eating it once a year, so. Does creatine really help? Yes, I believe in terms of muscle building supplements, outside of protein obviously, it is probably the most studied supplement that has proven to actually help. So yes, I believe it does. How are you so relaxed and chill? It's a great question. I'm not really sure. I think subconsciously I just learned that like kind of riding the midline, not being like too one way or the other, kind of leads you to a more stable, happy feeling life, and I just naturally did. I'm also very lucky and grateful to have been raised in a very like loving and supportive family, and that has given me a lot of self-confidence and happiness in my life, that not a lot of stress. Honestly, this past few years of my life have been the most stress I've ever had in my life. I'm still relaxed and chill, but I still feel stress inside me and anxiety about certain things. But I also really focus a lot on mindset, and I talk about that a lot, probably not enough. But like I love reading about like Stoic philosophy, different mindsets, books from like female therapists like Brene Brown that normally you wouldn't think of bodybuilder listening. Different various subjects all talking about mindset and how you can kind of like get through difficult times, and understanding to like take your emotions, feel them, understand them, and try not to react to them, and think through logic. And like, I don't know, I'm trying to like put a bunch of thoughts into one thing right now, but kind of just focusing on my mindset, trying to look at things as they are, not as my emotions believe that they are, and living like that. My therapist says one of her big keys that she focuses on is acceptance of just everything. Accept everything as it is. Don't make it worse than it is. Don't put your emotions into it. Don't put exaggerations onto it. Just be accepting. Don't be like, oh, I don't want to be an anxious person. I don't want to have a lisp. I don't want to be nervous to talk to girls. Don't like think that you don't want anything, because you're kind of shaming yourself and you're keeping it within you, but instead accept how you are, how you feel about things. Be like, I am this. I still love myself for being this, but I can grow, I can be better, I can change into this. Or look at the positive things of something that you might always see as negative, and just find the best things, learn to accept it. And once you've accepted it and you love yourself for all that you are, then you can start to grow through things. And in my opinion, having that understanding in your mind, it really makes you kind of relax and chill. And it's usually when you're in denial of things, of who you are or how you feel, that you kind of build more stress, anxiety, and kind of can react more out of emotion as opposed to logic of the truth that's around you. I don't know if that really made sense, but with that ramble, I think I'm gonna wrap this up. It's getting late and I gotta eat again. So yeah, if you guys like this type of video, let me know. I think it's kind of interesting trying to put my mindset into the questions. You give you a little more in-depth than I would on like an Instagram quick answer with a few words. So if you guys got this far, thank you guys for watching. Appreciate it. And yeah, maybe we'll do one of these again if you liked it. But till then, I'll catch you in the next video.